Hey guys, Greg Tran, Gregory Group Real Estate here in Austin, Texas. Everyone's of course been asking what's going on with the market, why is it doing what it's doing. So today I'm going to show you pretty much for the last year how the market has changed and the forces behind that. But I'm going to put it in a really simple to understand format so you'll be able to see and just know what's going on. So let's look at these two charts here. Here on the top, and you can see I'm hiding part of it because I want to show you the year as we go along. But what we have on this top chart is week by week, excuse me, week by week is what it is, and we're starting towards the end of summer, of last summer. So the blue line is the number of new listings that's coming on the market each week, and the red line is the number of houses that's going under contract each week. So if we want to put that in simpler terms, blue is supply and red is demand. And I'm sure we all listen in economics class, but we know that supply and demand rules everything. What this second chart is here, all this is the difference between the two lines. So anything that's positive here, that means that more homes are coming on the market than are being eaten up. And if it's below, then that means there's actually less homes that are coming on the market that are getting taken off. So it's a really easy way to see what's going on there. So I'm going to put positive equals more homes. Pretty easy. So let's look here again. Starting at the end of summer, this is when the market started to even out last year, and you can see why. Because each week we've got more homes coming on the market than are going under contract. So what's happening is the supply is actually growing each week, and you can see that in the line below. Because it's above zero, that means there's more homes coming on the market. And at this point, it was a very stable, and you can see even the red line, which is just things going under contract, it's pretty even for a lot of it. Now, if you remember, about November is when the market started just really picking up again. And what we saw out there was that there weren't a lot of homes on the market, and people were chasing after fewer and fewer homes. And you can see it here. Once again, the blue is the supply line. So now you're having, say over here, you have about half the amount of homes coming on the market that are actually going under contract here. And you can see the big dip here also. So anytime this blue line is below the red line, it means more homes are going under contract than is available. And so each week the supply is contracting. And that's why at this time last year, we saw that there were just very few homes on the market, and prices were getting bid up because there's multiple offers on everything. When you look at this chart down here, you'll see same thing. It's negative, so this means there's less homes each week. Now I'm going to bring it back to, let's say right here. So we started getting that market November, December, where everything started moving again, prices started moving up. And apart from this one side here, when more came out on the market than was selling, almost everywhere else, the supply started to get higher than demand. And it started about in spring. And you can see it here with this line going up. So what that meant is that every week now we're starting to have more homes coming on the market than are being absorbed from the market. And it was interesting because in this time the market was still very hot. We were still getting multiple offers on everything. So if you just looked at stats of how many sales were happening or what the percentage above list price is, you wouldn't really be able to tell that there was a difference. But I remember that this spring we were telling people, hey, we feel some changes in the market, but it feels like it's changing a little bit, but it's not something that we can tell. And the reason is because we are still getting multiple offers, but it might have been something where a home where we expected, say, 10 or 15 offers, maybe it was getting 5 or 7 offers. And when you see that kind of thing, it's still selling above, but you just know that there's less activity, so something might be changing. And like I said, you can see that here. Prices were still steadily rising. We were still getting multiple offers, but stuff was starting to look a little different. Now, if I move it even farther, you can see now we're into summer. So around the last week of May, I'd say, maybe early June, that's when all of a sudden, all around the country, the home buying really slowed down. And it's funny because everyone asked about the interest rates. The interest rates going up, did that affect the market? And the interest rates actually started going up back here in March or April when you see these lines start to go the other way. But once again, it didn't make that much change in the market until you got to this part right here, late May. And that's when you could see that there was really a big drop, and there was a lot more homes on the market. Every time I pulled open to MLS, there were tons of green homes, which for us, green means active on the market. There are a lot of green homes, very few orange homes, relatively speaking, orange being pending. And that's the opposite of what it used to be, where you'd have barely any homes that were active and most homes were under contract. And when you look at this, you can see why. Because all of a sudden you see the supply going up, 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 and that's pretty seasonal. That's pretty normal. You know, a lot of people sell towards spring to beginning of summer, so a lot of people are putting their homes on the market there. But the demand, the people buying the houses, it actually starts going down a little bit here. So all of a sudden you have the lines going off in different ways. They're diverging basically. And once again, this line makes it really obvious. You can see every single week it's going up, and this means the supply that's staying on the market is higher and higher and higher. And this is why we're seeing that the market's a lot slower, and that we're changing into a market where, as a seller, you just have to be a lot more careful about where it is you price. And it's really hard to just look at the comps and know it. You really need someone who can look at your kind of micro neighborhood situation, look at the numbers, look at the actives, take all the variables together, and to give you a really good idea of what it's going to look like for your house if you're going to look to sell it. But you can see this here, this big gap here, that's why the market has changed a lot. Now, if I bring it all the way out to here, you can see that the supply is starting to come down. The new things coming on the market is coming down. Once again, this is normal seasonality. Towards the end of summer, people are done trying to put their homes on the market, and it's going to even out a little bit. The interesting thing is the demand, people going under contract. It has some ups and downs, but it's mostly been pretty steady. So it's almost not even so much a case of drop demand. It's just a case that the supply was just outrunning the demand for a while, and the demand just did not rise to keep up with it, which is why the inventory has been going up this whole time. What we're seeing here maybe is a little bit of stability. It's normal for fall for the number of listings to kind of drop down around now. It might pop back up a little bit here in the next month or two, and then it's definitely going to go back down in November, December. So something that we're really looking at is when November, December comes around and the supply comes, what are the pendings doing? You know, if the pendings stay pretty even, then we'll probably have a fairly kind of even market going into the winter and into spring. But if the demand starts picking up and rising again as the supply comes down, I don't think there's a high probability of that, but if that does happen, we might see a case where the prices start rising again. Of course, the real estate, gosh, I can't talk today, but there's so many variables that go into real estate, whether you're on the buying side or the selling side. If you have a specific situation, like if you're thinking about buying or selling, just reach out. I'm happy to chat with you about what's going on in the market, what might be best for you, because really we just want to give you guys the information to make the right choices that's best for you and your family. Just reach out to me. Love to chat.